Well, happy to be here. My name is David Edinger. I'm from the city and county of Denver, and we are a 2014 fellowship city, and we are psyched. We're going to have hopefully 6 fellows come to Denver and be part of this experience. But a couple of years ago, we weren't ready for a Code for America fellowship, and so I'd like to take you through how we got to where we think we are ready for that. When Mayor Hancock approached me about 2 years ago and said, Dave, I want you to run this initiative called Peak Performance, my first question was, is it really going to be called Peak Performance? And my second question, and the thoughts that came through my head were renters versus owners, and we will outlast this. And for some strange reason, the penguins from the movie Madagascar popped into my head, the smile and wave, boys, smile and wave. Because I'd seen a lot of programs come through, and I knew that they were easy to dismiss and they were easy to get nowhere. So I talked to some of the smartest people I know in the city, Scotty Martin, manager of analytics, who's here, and we talked through how we could create a habit of innovation and performance, something that was strong enough and compelling enough that we could get folks to abandon the habit of compliance that they were used to. So like all good managers, we modeled things after a rope course. How do you best scare your employees? You put them up on the high ropes course. This is one in our Rocky Mountain parks. But I think this leap of faith element is a great example of what essentially we've created in this framework in Denver. So imagine the 2 employees there, right? They're scared out of their minds. It doesn't matter that the rope's attached to them. If you've ever been up on one of these things, you know it's terrifying. The folks you don't see in the background, the folks who are attached to the ropes on the other end, that's the Peak Academy. These are the folks that support and embed continuous improvement in our culture. They're the folks that convince you to go up that pole in the first place, 30 feet in the air, and then convince you to go out. And then, does anybody want to take a guess at who the person standing safely on the ground is? That's management. We're okay down here, 2 feet on the ground, good, go for it. But, you know, as much as I like to make fun of management in this situation, I think it's important to point out that they really do have a very important role in getting folks to, believe that they can do it and in trusting in them. So these are our engagement numbers, and we think they're important. The folks in red, that's everybody who's actively engaged. They're going to go up this ropes course and go out in it, no matter if we tell them to or not. The folks in blue, they're the ones that are actively disengaged. And everybody else is in the middle. The 75% of the folks we're trying to bring along, we're currently net, if you net these 2 bars together, we're net 15%. We were net 13% 2 years ago. Theoretically, you get to 100. What if we got to 70% actively engaged employees? And the reason that we didn't feel we were ready for this a couple of years ago is if we couldn't get at our own data, if we couldn't use our own data internally because it was siloed and cut off from us, if we couldn't get our own people, the people we pay to be actively engaged, how are we going to get the folks who were our citizens, who were paying us to be actively engaged? And so we decided to focus on the Peak Academy to get us there. This is a picture of Mayor Hancock and a few folks in the Peak Academy training room doing a simulation called the paper airplane simulation, where you try to get 24 airplanes to fly. And we do this routine a lot. We teach people to try and fail, and then try and almost succeed, and then try and succeed. And we do that over and over again so that they'll believe. This is one of my favorite slides that I've ever seen coming out of an Ignite presentation at the Peak Academy. This is Heather from Human Services putting her A3 in the form of a book based on the Hungry Caterpillar. If you have kids, you know the Hungry Caterpillar. It took a leap of faith for her to take that step and go out there on a limb, but I can tell you that everybody in the room wanted to be part of her innovation at Human Services. She's one of the people. It's not Peak Academy, it's not Peak Performance, it's certainly not me convincing that middle to come along. It's people like Heather who are in that upper bar and are actively pulling the rest of our city employees along towards innovation. Sometimes it doesn't work. We've identified $23 million in savings for every dollar we've invested. $23 for every dollar we've invested, but we've actualized only $3. That's what we call the cost of hesitation. That's folks falling back into the habit that they're used to, the habit of compliance. And so we still have a long ways to go because we're only actualizing about $3 for every dollar invested. It's still a pretty good return. This is something I saw the other day. I went to a technology services meeting. I was expecting, since the room was packed, that we were going to be talking about some great technology, and what I saw instead was a CIO, Frank Daidone, walking his team through slide after slide of folks like this person on our 16th Street Mall who's homeless. And what he was trying to do was show them the why. He was trying to look through the customer lens and what we teach in Lean, and he was trying to explain to his folks, this isn't about the next new technology, this isn't about the next great software, this is about helping these people. That's why we exist. And it was a powerful presentation that was packed. He had to tape it because so many folks on the help desk in 311 couldn't be there. And then this is just a fun slide, one of my new favorite slides to look at. So it's not statistically significant or anything, but the blue line represents the quality of life in Denver tracked by the National Citizen Survey over the last 10 or 11 years. It looks to be slightly going up. Yet our civic engagement, how citizens rate us in the same survey for our ability to involve them, is going down. And that gap, when folks look at it, 9 out of 10 Broncos fans will tell you that's the Peyton Manning effect. So somehow, and then some folks will say, well, obviously, if we don't engage our citizens, they'll like living in Denver better. That's the other great response we get out of that. So what I'll leave you with is this is a great journey to be on. It's a journey we had to go on in order to get ready for Code for America and what we think is this next platform for us. And a lot of fun and a lot of good things happen, and perhaps most importantly, a lot of unpredictable things happen. So thank you.